Wonderful.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. Today we have Dr. Dumi, who is a leading practitioner in executive coaching, team coaching, coach training, Ubuntu Intelligence coaching, and leadership skills development. He is pioneering the advancement of Ubuntu values in coaching to enhance human relations globally. Dumi is the recent Global Board Chair 2023-24 of ICF, the largest body of coaching and coaches in the world. He is also founding board member of Africa Board for Coaching, Consulting and Coaching Psychology, promoting the development of professional coaching across Africa. Dumi co-founded and chaired the Ubuntu Coaching Foundation, UCF, in South Africa. He is the founder, president, and CEO of Africa Coaching, a private firm providing executive coaching and team coaching globally, both virtually and in person. Dumi's recent book is titled Ubuntu Coaching and Connection Practices for Leader Managers. Dumi's coaching approaches include igniting and deepening self awareness in clients and supporting leaders to constantly reflect on themselves and stay on the learning edge to support their own and others' continuous growth towards personal mastery. So, without further ado, I would request Dr. Dumi to take over, please. Over to you, Dr. Dumi.
Wow, what a pleasure. Thank you so much, Varandip. I appreciate your time and everyone who's tuned in today to this conversation. It's a conversation really. Well, I'll do a little bit of the talking early on, and then we can have a discussion. I really would love for us to talk with each other and connect, engage, and share in this platform. It's only 1 hour. So that's not a lot of time. So let's hope that we can use the time productively. Please feel free to call me Dumi or Coach Dumi or just Dumi. Thank you. I'm going to start by asking a question. If anyone can put in the chat how you greet. How do you greet fellow human beings or other beings in general? How do you greet? And then answer these two questions: why, how you greet, and why you greet that way. This is one piece of takeaway that I would like you to recall from this, around noticing how we encounter fellow human beings. It's a very, very important part. Yes, I see Udit greet with a big smile. Yes, big smile. And Udit, it has to be real, by the way. Yeah. Shiva Kumar, yes, to express respect for a fellow human being. Absolutely. And Ivan, which according to the time, like good morning, afternoon. Yeah. Warm conversation with the greeting. A genuine and interested. Yes. Are you interested in the other, or are you just ticking a box? Very, very important. How we greet is important. We'll come back to it now. I'll just share that. So I've got some slides I'd like to share, but I normally prefer to have a conversation without slides. But for the sake of the work we do, sometimes others like to have visual, something that you look at. So I'm going to share some slides, and then I've got one video I would like to share with everybody. So the session is about Ubuntu and Ubuntu Intelligence. It's a thing, by the way, this Ubuntu Intelligence. There's a thing called Ubuntu Intelligence called UbuQ. In my book that's here on my background video, Zoom background, that book is available on Amazon. And you can read more about Ubuntu and Ubuntu Intelligence, but more specifically about Ubuntu coaching, how you coach with and through using Ubuntu. So I'm excited to be talking to you guys because I'm talking about something that I grew up with. So what we will cover just now, greeting consciously. We already started with that. What is Ubuntu? And then Ubuntu Intelligence, UbuQ. And then living with Ubuntu Intelligence daily as your first nature, as the way you are with others. And then rehumanizing leadership everywhere in the world where we live.
Sorry, so, Dr. Dumi, we are seeing a black pattern above your screen. Maybe it is that the panel of the people.
Okay.
When you share
Tell
the
me.
screen, there is a block, gray block coming in. I think it is the panel, the people view, or maybe something like that. It's obscuring the screen.
Oh, it's the banner, this one on top.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes.
can you still see it now?
Yes, yes, yes. Maybe you can minimize it or put it aside. Yeah,
And now?
yeah, it's much better. Thank you so much.
Thank you for letting me know. But sometimes when you're presenting, you're not seeing that. Just here, I want to just note, I believe that Ubuntu is inherent human intelligence and mitigated. This is who we are as human beings. And a big part of what I want to share with you is that I grew up in this environment of Ubuntu where it was normal to engage with fellow human beings, to take care of each other. This thing keeps coming back. I don't know how to keep it off. But yeah, if there's someone who is a techie who can tell me how to do that,
Yeah, yeah, it's fine. It is not obscuring the screen.
okay. So the greatness of humanity is not in being human. We're all human. We're fine. We're human. It is in being humane. What is the difference between being human and being humane? How many of us on this call here today are humane? Because we are all human, right? I don't believe there, unless for the note-taking persons, technological persons in the room. Many of us here are humane beings that bleed blood. We're really human, right? But how many of us are humane, human with an E? What does that mean? It means that we're humane beings that understand that we are here not in our own personal service, but in the service of the greater good of everyone else that we encounter, that we meet on this journey called life. The challenge we have as human beings is how to stay humane in a world that's always pushing us to the boundaries, to the periphery, and challenge us not to step into who we are. Now, in this next story, which is an illustration of Ubuntu, I would like you to pay close attention to what you're noticing and tell me what you see in this video. Is short, it's about a minute, and just tell me what you notice. Pay very, very close attention to what you see in this next video. Okay. I see already some very good comments coming in, helping each other, togetherness. Shiva Kumar, yes, 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 absolutely. Anyone else? What do you notice? The spirit of Ubuntu, Sanjay, yes. Being together, yeah. Team building, yes. Ivan, team building, yeah. Camaraderie, yes. Benefits, helping each other benefits everyone, yeah. It's still something I'm looking for here, which is most meaningful things are not done alone. It's coordination. That's a beautiful one. Coordination. Empathy. Yes. Anand. Yes. Jasper. Yeah. We win together. Absolutely. Brilliant point. And we lose together if we're not paying attention. Sympathy. Yes, Rajesh, but empathy, togetherness, Anish. Yeah, everyone achieves more when we work together. Yes. You notice the color changes. You notice how at the end, everyone gets fed, but you can't feed yourself. It's called the long spoons. You can't, because your hand is stuck to that part of the spoon, so you can't feed yourself. You can only feed the next person. This is what our gifts are. So the message here to all of you, and thank you for the chat, keeping the chat very much alive. It's very nice when very deep the chat. I love the participation in the chat. Thank you very much. The message here with this video is Ubuntu. Ubuntu is alive in many so-called, I'm using that intentionally, indigenous communities, because everyone is indigenous somewhere. The thing is, humanity is indigenous to planet Earth, so we are kind of all indigenous. The thing is, we've compartmentalized this planet into little places we call countries and sovereign nations, and put laws and say someone should move this place that way and that way. Biggest con ever. Planet belongs to all human beings, all humanity. This thing about nations and countries and geographies, it goes against the very nature of who we are. Everybody came from this part of the world. All scientists, everything that has shown that we evolved from one place. And then we spread around the planet, and that's where we are. We are one person. So very, very, thank you, Gaurav, for on the volume. I need to do that. Maybe my equipment is not showing loud enough. Let me know if it's better now. It's fine for others, so let's check that. So I will increase just for the others to hear. Thank you for letting me know. So one of the most important things around here is understanding who we are. We are humane beings that are so inherently, inextricably interconnected. What Ubuntu says is to remind us that we need to come back home to who we are. Voice not audible. And Anirudh is saying voice not audible. Can I
Yeah,
get
Dr.
a check?
Dumi, it's fine. Anirudh, maybe you can check it your end, please. It's fine.
Okay, you sure? I want everyone to hear what I'm talking about.
Right.
All right.
It's fine.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. I'm gonna continue then with the slide. Let me know, Aaron, if you can.
It is, but that top banner has again come.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay now.
Thank you. These are images that just show it. Some of you may know what these images are. You can take a picture of it and let them know. Let us know in the chat, those that know that. These are different parts of Africa. I was sharing this with young African leaders, saying, where is this place? Where is that place? Where is this golden rhino? Where is it from? These were things that are in ancient times that were done a long time ago. And many people say they were done by aliens and other things. We have images like that in India and other parts of Asia and the world. But the message here for me is this: until the animals have their own storytellers, the story of the hunt will always glorify the hunter. And the message is, who writes history? Who tells us what's going on in the world? And what is the narrative they push through those images and messages, those headlines? Very, very important to take everything we learn or that is inherited and passed on as so-called knowledge or wisdom from others with a pinch of salt, because most of those things are not what they seem to be. But that's another story for another day. For today, I want to come to Ubuntu more. The framing of it. This is epistemology. It's more academic, because I was talking to a group of young people that are on their learning journeys at graduate schools, and that we need to know what our epistemological grounding is. How do we know what we know? And how do we reason out what it is that serves us and that doesn't? We've been taught to look at things in one way or another, when we can look at things in multiple ways. India, like South Africa, like most of Africa, most of so-called global South or developing world, developed world, whatever you call it, those structural levels of looking at the world. Colonialism and the history of that has shaped our way of looking at ourselves and each other. And we need to start to disabuse ourselves of that and start to reconstruct narratives and ways that help us see each other as we are, not as we've been told we need to look at ourselves. We need to look at our worlds from one school of wisdom to another school of wisdom, from one conception of the world to another conception of the world. Equal. Not stratify how we look at ourselves. No, in different cultures, different parts of the world, we have classes of people that we look at. And that is part of the problem. Who are we to say anyone else must be this or that or belong to this or that group? We do this and we perpetuate these things. And what we're doing, we're denying ourselves the genius that comes through all those people. There are over 8 billion of us today on this planet. Some are saying it's more than that, actually. It's above 10, 11, 12 billion. But the thing is, there's only one you. There's no copy or imitation of you. Well, you can do it now with AI. You can recreate yourself and go out there in the world and do all kinds of things. But really, there's only one of you, one of me. And you are here to express the gifts that can only come through you. What Ubuntu says is, let's co-create an environment or environments or spaces where every single human being can express the gifts that can only come through them during this one lifetime. And as others, we believe we come back in other forms. But while we're here in this lifetime, we have a mission. And that mission is to express the gifts. And we do that in connection with others. What are the most powerful foundations for effective human connection? Anyone? Yes, we already spoke about it. We're not going to do this, but I want you to just be aware of this. Share how you normally greet. You've already done it. So we've got this part already done. So thank you for doing it right up front. When you look at this, I call it, it's a common photograph. You find it everywhere. I call it the perspective photograph. It gives you perspective. But the one that I want to share is this part that many of you know. So understanding that when we greet, we're establishing a connection. And that connection can last a lifetime. It's what families are made of. Couples get married, you meet. Yes, there's arranged marriages in other ways in different cultures. But when you meet someone for the first time, you notice how you greet. Many people don't notice that because we just connect and we think we are fine. And say hello, hello, and that's it. If you look at these three greetings, Varun, if you can let me know, can you see, are we together on the photo, on the image of greetings?
Okay. Yes. I can see three images on the screen and then different greetings on the left.
Wonderful. Yeah, if you look at the top one, I had the privilege of spending some time as a visiting professor in Japan. And the greeting, although we were trained and briefed and practiced how to greet using the bow, you get there sometimes, you're almost muscle memory. When you meet someone, you just thrust your hand in front of them and then in the moment realize, oh, you need to, it's a bow, not a handshake, because you're raising that. So, and now and then you want to pull someone in and shoulder bump. And so greetings are different. During COVID, the one on the bottom right, and then the one on the bottom left, you can't fake that. That is a heartfelt greeting of really, you can see that there's lots of emotion in that, lots of some people that really care or know each other. So the message is greeting consciously, because this ignites genuine connection. So if you take anything around on this part of the session, take this. We need to learn to greet consciously. We need to relearn to greeting consciously, or unlearn ways of greeting as a tick box and learn how to greet consciously. There are three ways of greeting that I always talk about. You greet consciously, you greet intentionally, and you greet mindfully. When you greet in that way, we are able to establish a genuine connection that it could possibly last a lifetime. And then what we need to do, if we had time, with a 90-minute session, we'll do this part. That thing is coming again. I don't know how to get rid of this, but yeah. That my human connection learning edge. If you can put that, what I would like, you choose which one you like to add. In the chart, let's work on the second one. My human connection superpowers are. Some already said the smile and that. But what do you need to learn about how to greet? What's your connection learning edge? Things you need to work on to do that. This I'm going to leave. So before I dive into more Ubuntu and Ubuntu Intelligence quickly, this is laying the foundation, what I've been doing now. What we must do is learn and ask ourselves, who taught me what I believe I know for sure about me and about the so-called others? And how can I unlearn that and learn to do things a little differently? Because we live this life with borrowed eyes, many of us. Like we are programmed robots. So my challenge to every one of us is, ask yourself this question: who gave me the eyes I see my world with? Who? We need to ask ourselves that. How do I see my world? Who gave me the eyes to see my world like that? And then if I can have one person to read this, I can't move that thing again. It's not moving up.
Yeah, the first line, maybe you will have to read. Anyone wants in the audience wants to read, I can unmute you. You can raise hand and can unmute. Okay, we have somebody. Okay, Ivan, I'm allowing you to talk. Yeah, so Ivan is here. Maybe Dr. Dumi, you have to read the first line because we are not able to see that clearly.
Researchers,
and then
yeah.
I think I can only see it from the color skin, and ultimately my skin and your skin is a consequence of ultraviolet light, of latitude and climate. Despite our recent and sad conflicts here in the US,
in the world,
in the world, okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
There really is no such thing scientifically as race. We are all one species. Each of us is much more alike than we are different. We all came from Africa. We are all made of the same stardust. We are all going to live and die on the same planet. A pale blue dot in the vastness of space. We have to work together. This is by Bill Nye.
Thank you, Evan. Really appreciate you reading that. And so heartfelt. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. So neuroscientists have known for a while that we human beings are hardwired to connect. We want to connect. And we've forgotten that. If anyone wants to read up more around the science of the neuroscience of it, just find this book, by Amanda Blake. Your Body is Your Brain. I love reading it. I couldn't put it down. A powerful book on that. And then I'll move quickly and get to the Ubuntu part. The radical human connection, I'm going to get into that. So reintroducing Ubuntu. This is the heart of what I'm talking about here today. Anyone else who would like to read this for us, please? And I hope that thing doesn't come up. The title is just Understanding Ubuntu.
Just
Anish,
okay.
Go for it.
Yeah, Anish.
Let's unmute Anish. Thank you, Anish. Go for it.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
can hear you.
Okay, so it's about understanding Ubuntu. As humans, we have a thing called Ubuntu. It is about the essence of being human. It is part of the gift that attuned humans will give to the world. It embraces hospitality, caring about others, being willing to go the extra mile for the sake of others. We believe that a person is a person through other persons. That my humanity is caught up and bound up in yours. When I dehumanize you, I inexorably dehumanize myself, the solitary human being in a contradiction in terms, and therefore you seek to work for the common good because your humanity comes into its own in community, in belonging.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you, Anish. Appreciate that. And then let's have another person read this one. Who'd like to do that for us? Thank you for that, Anish. Who wants to read this next one, please? Go ahead, please. Any takers? Unmute. No?
Yeah. Somebody else?
Anybody?
Okay, we have
Thank you, Sandeep.
Sandeep. Yeah, one second. Yeah. Sandeep, you can now speak.
Thank you, Sandeep. I appreciate that.
Sandeep, we are not able to hear.
Martin, yeah.
Yeah, you are audible now, please.
Give me a moment. I'm just adjusting. The top line is hidden.
Yeah, don't worry about the top.
Martin Luther King. Yeah.
On connection. Yeah.
All I'm saying is simply this, that all life is interrelated, and in a real sense, we are all caught in an inescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. For some strange reason, I can never be what I ought to be until you are what you ought to be. And you can never be what you ought to be until I am what I ought to be. This is the interrelated structure of reality. Martin Luther King Jr.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for reading that way. Thank you, everybody. Let me move on quickly on this. I would like to leave about 20 minutes, 15 minutes for discussion. So let me quickly get to the more of the gist on the Ubuntu part. Sandeep, thank you very much for reading. So some key elements of Ubuntu that we know. This is the etymological part around Ubuntu and what I can share some of this with you. The thing that I want to share here is the last part, that note at the end. In many communities, people that go against the norms of that community or society are given tags or names as if they are not human. You lose your humanity if you do something bad. And until you make amends or do penance for that, you are not regarded as fully human. You lose your humanity until you get that back by doing something to earn that back. Because Ubuntu as godliness in that. But there are all kinds of historical notes around Ubuntu. And if you're interested and like to read, check what we call Hermetic Philosophy and Science, where Hermes Trismegistus wrote a whole lot early on. This is 10,000 BC, a long time ago, around the values and concept of Ubuntu and being human. The quality and dignity of the human personality, which is called supreme goodness, which is Ubuntu. We all have access to that. And that last bullet is an important one. In Egypt, they call it Ma'at, which is understood to be the original African or Egyptian meaning of Ubuntu. It says, and this has been described as that microchip in our hearts and souls that tells us what is right or wrong and guides us through life in accordance with the divine will, whatever your divine is. Very, very important. We all have this microchip in us. This is why when you see someone somewhere in another part of the world doing something really ghastly, you kind of react with shock, or something in you just says, that's not right. Maybe you see a flood, a fire, burning a home with people in the house. You're quite shocked by that. But you don't know those people. They are not your relatives. So what's in it for you? Why are you like shrinking back at it like shock? It's because we are one. We are connected. We feel each other's pain. Even though we do so much to separate, to fragment, to disconnect, we know we are connected human beings. So very important to understand that that's the foundation for Ubuntu, the divine order of creation, justice, truth, righteousness, all those things that make us humane, human with an E. That we treat the person we do not know yet, we haven't met yet, the same way we would treat someone we know very well. Because Ubuntu is omnipresent, irrespective of ethnicity, culture, geography, or cultural separation or differentiation. Ubuntu sees right through these superficial constructs that as human beings we place among each other, about each other. It sees right through that. Very important for us to understand that. I seek to serve our collective good through everything I do. Then I live with Ubuntu. I'm a human being with Ubuntu who lives with Ubuntu, and that's, I have Ubuntu Intelligence. So there are all these other things that's genuine, authentic human connection. It's more than I am because we are, and it's seeing each other as we are, not the stories we've been taught and told and inherited. We've got to transcend those stories and see ourselves as part of that. And what Martin Luther King said there, I cannot be fully me without you being able to be fully you. And our work here on this earth is to create space where we can all be us. Any one of you here who is married, if you're, some of you are married, so anyone know about the silent treatment? Like that couple there made of wires, that graphic artifact in a museum that they did. It's what you see is two adults that are maybe fighting, the couple, maybe they're not happy with each other. And then especially the ladies like to dish out silent treatment. And the child within each one of us wants to reach out and say hello and say, it's okay, it's going to be okay, like that image shows. And the thing is, we've got to keep that child in you alive, and let children know how to connect, because they have not been taught all the nonsense of separation that we teach ourselves as we grow up. Because Ubuntu is a global phenomenon that is best understood contextually and experientially. We need to understand that. I wrote that in a book in 2019, understanding that. So that divine microchip covered that. Treating all people with respect covered that. This part is a very interesting one I want to catch up on before we wrap up. Living, coaching, working, and doing everything with Ubuntu Intelligence and awareness and Ubuntu knowledge, and knowing that we're connected, means that I'm fully and consciously aware that I become less than I can fully be. When I inadvertently, or that what Desmond Tutu say, inexorably or intentionally contribute towards restricting or limiting or obstructing others from becoming who they can fully become in their lifetime. We're lucky if we live up to 70, 80, 90, 100. The thing is, during that lifetime, people need to live their full lives. So effectively, you or I, or whoever does the obstructing, will rob or deny the rest of us the gifts and the genius that can only come through you or them when we do that, when we limit others from what they can do. Imagine what slavery, what other things, that colonialism and other things that limit other people from becoming who they can be, what it has denied humanity in general. It's not that it's a limitation that impacts everybody. When we don't live with Ubuntu and support others to be fully themselves, we're robbing ourselves of that genius that can come through them. Because children know this stuff until we, literally beat it out of them through so-called education, which is the miseducation of the child. And we need to learn to let go of these stereotypes and stories that help us separate. And Ubuntu Intelligence is an interesting part, is bringing it all together. And it requires new mindsets, Ubuntu Intelligence, and especially new heart sets. And these hearts is that enable us to see the self in the other, that everyone is an extension of the other. When we understand that and we live with that, we get to a space where we are freer to be ourselves, in spite of the superficial narratives that surround us and the noise of separation that we live in. We're more connected now with technology, but we don't know each other. We actually resent or hate each other and separate and literally kill each other off. So Ubuntu Intelligence means that I know deep within me that I diminish myself and become less than I can fully be when I contribute towards diminishing or restricting you from becoming you. I know that and I live with that every day. If you like reading like me, pick up this book from Amazon. It'll get to you very quickly. The Healing Power of Human Connection in a Sometimes Lonely World. Very important. There are people falling in love with algorithms now and technology and not looking for connection. And there are so many human beings on earth, but yet there is loneliness. You see how kind of messed up the world is. And this book is a powerful one that reminds us to seek to connect with each other. And human intelligence, Ubuntu Intelligence, lays the foundation and reminds us to do that. So I call in the bullet number 4 there that Ubuntu and Ubuntu Intelligence are part of the critical human software, the rehumanizing software that humanity needs now to navigate the fast-paced changes of the digital age. We need Ubuntu. We need to know that we're connected and to know ways to connect even more. One thing I do when I travel, the privilege of flying around a lot, around different parts of the world. When I travel, I make it a point to greet strangers and connect with them. And I've met incredibly amazing friends all over the world, including the current global chair of the ICF, who's a good friend, and we connected so beautifully because of just seeking to connect with another. And she comes from India, and Shweta Handagupta, brilliant leader. And the thing is, when you connect with leaders and with others and people like that, you get to see them differently from how others do. Because it's that human software that we find when we seek to connect, we unlock more genius in ourselves and each other with that connection. Because you may outrun that which is chasing you, but it is impossible to outrun that which lives inside you. What lives inside you is the humane being, is humanity. This essence of humanity lives within each and every one of us. And these lights within our souls seek to connect with each other to illuminate the rest of humanity. And we block the light by putting a blanket of so-called personalized or sectional identity over it, and block the opportunity to see others as they are and shine each other's light to brighten up the path towards greater human connection. We know how to do this. And our elders and those that have come before us, like these first human beings, they knew that. And this is why this proverb, if the wise elders of the village don't teach the children, the village idiots don't rest. They're always busy, and they will certainly teach them and produce more idiots. And it's not to insult anyone. It's just saying those that want to separate are very busy, and they never rest. They keep working at it. So we need to push back and find ourselves. And one of my favorites, wise sages, Rumi, says, yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm changing myself, because that's what I have control over. And one of our leaders said, one of the most difficult things is not to change society, but to change yourself. So, thank you very much for listening.
So thank you very much, Dr. Dumi. It was fantastic session. I enjoyed it thoroughly. So if anyone has any questions or any inputs, maybe you can raise your hand. I can unmute you, or you can share your inputs in the chat box as well. Okay, Naveen, I have allowed you to speak. Naveen, yeah.
So, Dr. Dumi, thanks very much for this insight. And I would like to understand or take your viewpoint.
Yes.
The concept of connected intelligence is so profound, and we have a day-to-day life which involves our family relationships and business relationships. How do we impart? I mean, I think, and I am assuming the family relationships are for the given. And the way you have explained how we build relationships talking across the goal when there is no agenda, when people are open and greet each other with happiness and non-invasive approaches, it's easy to build a connection. But in the case of business, sometimes we have conflicting priorities and, conflicting agenda. And at the same time, it is difficult. I mean, confrontation is inevitable, but how do we apply the principles of Ubuntu into such context?
Yeah, thank you. It's such a beautiful question. I hear this question. I get it all the time with leaders. I coach CEOs in the C-suite and leaders on boards and others. And one of the key things in this business, conflicting agendas are normal in business. That's why it's business. It's a competitive space. You have to push your own way, your priorities, as you're saying, and make sure that in the current business environment, there's a win-lose dichotomy thing that's at play. And what conscious business is seeking to do is have win-win-win kind of scenarios. And that starts with seeing that your so-called opponent or rival or business competition is really you in another frame doing what you have to do to succeed in business. When you approach it as we are actually in the same game, we can all succeed. It goes against everything that business schools teach you, against everything that successful business people tell you. You've got to destroy competition. That's the language you get. You've got to eliminate them, decimate them. You've got to win. You've got to get all the market share. You've got to do all this. I see this all the time because I teach in business schools. And what the world needs is conscious business leadership, which understands that sometimes you need to even support your competition. Where we are now in the world, we need to find each other. And I like your question, Naveen, because we are in that space now with technology. Very recently, it was if you had more information, you had power. Not the case anymore. And it's happening on the business front. Many businesses are realizing that right now, that actually I need to support small businesses to grow, and we need each other. We support each other. We can share. There is enough for everybody. Because this narrative that there's a shortage of everything and we must go grab it or someone else will grab it. It's not true. It's a lie. So people don't like me saying that, but it's very controversial. But I truly believe that there is enough for everybody. We just need to learn to share. If you look at how the world is and how much we waste food in the world today, especially in the so-called developed world, so-called developed world, that's when you see that we're in trouble as humanity. And we need to change the script. Otherwise, we're careering down a very fast, slippery slope to oblivion. We can rescue that. Thanks, Naveen.
Thank you for that, Dr.
Thank you, Naveen, for a wonderful question. Vinod, you want to ask or share anything? Should I unmute you? Okay, great. Anybody else?
Oh, we can wrap up early. That's good.
Yeah. I think everybody enjoyed the session like I did.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very deep. Thanks, everybody. Take good care of yourselves. Let's stay in touch on LinkedIn. Let's connect with each other. Yeah.
Right. Thank you. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank
very
you.
much. Thanks so
Okay.
much.
Take care. Bye-bye.